Hello everybody, it's VerticalSandwich. Welcome back to Book Reviews, and we are in the middle of a series. So this is Rama 2. Alright, Rama 2 is the sequel to Rendezvous with Rama, which won the Hugo Award in 1974. And this particular book, well, my copy, let us see. My copy was published in 1990. So, 1990. I think actually that's the copyright, so the book is in 1990. So, the Ramans are back. Years ago, the enormous, enigmatic alien spacecraft called Rama sailed through our solar system as mind-boggling proof that life existed, or had existed, elsewhere in the universe. Now, at the dawn of the 23rd century, another ship is discovered hurtling towards us. A crew of Earth's best and brightest minds is assembled to rendezvous with the massive vessel. They are armed with everything we know about Raman technology and culture, but nothing can prepare them for what they are about to encounter on board Rama 2. Cosmic secrets that are startling, sensational, and perhaps even deadly. Alright, so this book actually, 15 years after writing Rama, Arthur C. Clarke was convinced to come back and write further books in the series. And in his preface, he says that he hadn't planned on doing that, and he paired up with Gentry Lee, and they wrote 3 books to finish out this series. And I love them. They're amazing. They're absolutely and totally unbelievably good. Now, Rama 2, exactly as it says, is about Rama returning to the solar system, and then this group of scientists, well, not necessarily scientists, one of them is a journalist, going to explore it. So there's like a general and a journalist and these scientists. And what happens is Rama 2 is different than Rendezvous with Rama in a couple ways. So let's jump in and read kind of what's going on and talk about the way the book is built and what's different and what's good about it. Okay? The tiny robot strode out into the light and unsheathed his sword. The English army had arrived at Harfleur. Once more into the breach, dear friends, once more, or close the walls up with our English dead. In peace there's nothing so becomes a man as modest stillness and humility. But when the blast of war blows in our ears, then imitate the action of the tiger. Henry V, new King of England, continued to exhort his imaginary soldiers. Nicole smiled as she listened. She had spent the better part of an hour following Wakefield's Prince Hal from the debauchery of his youth onto the battlefields, fighting against Hotspur and the other rebels, and thence to the throne of England. Nicole had only once read the 3 Henry plays, and that had been years before, but she was well aware of the historical period because of her lifelong fascination with Joan of Arc. Shakespeare made you into something you never were, she said out loud to the little robot as she bent beside it to insert Richard's baton in the off slot. You were a warrior, to be sure, nobody would argue with that. But you were also a cold and heartless conqueror. You made Normandy bleed under your powerful yoke. You almost crushed the life out of France. Nicole laughed nervously at herself. Here I am, she thought, talking to a senseless ceramic prince 20 centimeters high. She remembered her feeling of hopelessness an hour earlier after she had tried once more to figure out a way to escape. The fact that her time was running out had been reinforced when she had drunk the next to last swig of water. Oh well, she mused, turning back to Prince Hal, at least this is better than feeling sorry for myself. And what else can you do, my little prince? Nicole said. What happens if I insert this pin in the slot marked C? The robot activated, walked a few steps, and finally approached her left foot. After a long silence, Prince Hal spoke, not in the rich actor's voice he had used during his earlier recitals, but instead in Wakefield's British twang. C stands for converse, my friend, and I have a considerable repertoire, but I don't speak until you say something first. Nicole laughed. All right, Prince Hal, she said after a moment's thought. Tell me about Joan of Arc. The robot hesitated and then frowned. She was a witch, dear lady, burned at the stake in ruin, a decade after my death. During my reign, the north of France had been subjugated by my armies, the French witch claiming she was sent by God. Nicole stopped listening and jerked her head up as a shadow crossed. Okay, so that part of the story is the character Nicole has actually fallen into a pit and can't get out in Rama. One of the things that is wonderful about Rama 2 that Rendezvous with Rama doesn't quite do as well, Rendezvous with Rama focuses completely on the ship. Since Rendezvous with Rama, there are slight spoilers. I thought I should have said at the beginning. I said I was going to say it at the beginning that there would be spoilers. Anyway, you're watching a critique of a sequel. You should know that I'm going to talk about that. Rendezvous with Rama talks a lot about the ship and establishes the ship in intricate detail. So this book doesn't have to. What this book does is strands 6 or 7 very distinct personalities with very strong egos on a ship, all with their own goals, and follows kind of the soap opera of their lives. And that makes it an engaging read. It's you really care about the characters, or you don't like the bad ones, and you like the good ones, or you feel some are bad and some are good, or when one is in peril, as Nicole is stuck in this trench. I couldn't put this book down when she was stuck in there. I just needed to know how she was going to get out, or when she was going to get out, or what was going to happen. This book is fantastic that way. It is absolutely a great kind of character study and story in characters. And that's what sets up this book as the beginning of a great series, is because we're going to follow characters now through multiple books. Nicole is actually she's the main character through the Rama series. She's only introduced in Rama 2. Nobody from Rama 1 recurs or is reintroduced because Rama 1 happens far in the past of Rama 2. Whereas Rama 2, the Garden of Rama, and Rama Revealed all bookend one another as one continuous story. So when you finish Rama 2, you pick up Garden of Rama, and it picks up exactly where you were. And then when you finish the Garden of Rama, you pick up Rama Revealed, and in fact, I think Garden of Rama has a cliffhanger ending. So that being said, like, you'll care about these characters, and you really will like what happens to them while they're traveling and exploring this spacecraft, which, by the way, turns out to be inhabited by other things as well, which becomes reasonably terrifying. But I loved Rama 2, and I was very cynical. When I picked this up, I was very cynical about the idea of a sequel to Rendezvous with Rama, because it's such a standalone, kind of compartmentalized thing. You finish Rendezvous with Rama, and you don't think, you know what that book needs? A character-driven sequel. But this is an amazing character-driven novel, written by, a sci-fi legend and Gentry Lee, who I'm not familiar with Gentry Lee's work. So I can't really speak to Gentry Lee as an author, but certainly Gentry Lee's work with Arthur C. Clarke really humanizes the narrative. Because I've read a good amount of Arthur C. Clarke stuff separately, and Gentry Lee definitely takes kind of the metal edge of sci-fi out of Arthur C. Clarke and puts a gentle, like a human face on what's going on in the science fiction. And that's what makes this just an amazing story, is probably the input of Gentry Lee. And I'm not saying Arthur C. Clarke can't write a good story by himself. Childhood End is great, and the 2001 series is great, but the depth of character in this can only be the responsibility or the fault of Gentry Lee, because you don't see those things in other Arthur C. Clarke books. Like, you see great stories in good sci-fi, but what you don't get is kind of these deep, humanizing stories that last, and endear you to the people. And this collaboration is amazing, and this book is fantastic, and I suggest you read it. And I suggest you read it before you tune in to the review for the next book, because the review for the next book is going to talk about how this book ends, because it's going to have to. So when we come back, we will be reviewing The Garden of Rama and talking about what happens there. So I will see you guys for that. Thank you for watching. Bye, everybody.